All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. The junior class. Awesome. Woo woo, yeah. You know what? The last time you were all here together, you were freshmen. Wow. Impressive. Okay. Well, let me reintroduce myself. I am Mrs. Martin, your assistant principal. And I am so excited that you guys are actually all back here. I've seen a lot of you have grown up. You look a little taller. You look a little bit more mature since I last saw you 15 months ago. We're just going to go ahead and get started. We just want to have a quick meeting just to kind of review what's going on so you know what your expectations are and, you can have a good junior year. All right, so Mr. Brandt, your principal, he got called away on an emergency. However, if he can come back, he will. But he did leave some things that he wanted me to share with you. One of the things that's important is that, again, this is where everything counts. You're here in high school. Your final GPA matters. It's really important that you do focus in on your classes, your studying, going to class, doing your work. If you need help, asking for help, just really making sure that you stay on top of your assignments and that you're doing your best. Because what happens is, unfortunately, once you start missing assignments, it gets overwhelming and it gets very hard to catch up. So my advice is that you stay up on your assignments so that you don't fall behind, okay? The other thing that Mr. Brandt wanted to share was that because of, we're still in the pandemic, that we are doing some different things around the building in terms of the stairways and the hallways. In the mornings, you are supposed to be entering the doorways that are closest to your first period class. So like if you have a class in the D or the C hallway first period, you should be entering in the doorways that are down there by the Egg Harbor Road. If you have a classroom that's in a first period that's in the E hall or the gym, you should be entering over there by the soccer field. If you have a class that's over here by the A hallway, you should be entering through the guidance entrance. If you have a classroom that's over here on this side of the building, then you can enter through the main entrance. Breakfast is free for everybody, so if you want to come and have breakfast in the morning at 7 a.m., the doors are open and you can go straight to the cafeteria. Otherwise, you are just going to wait until you can come in and you'll just have a seat in the auditorium just to kind of get yourself together. And then at 7:15, you can go to your first period class. Just a reminder, I know things were a little bit different for those of you that came for the hybrid last year, where school started at 7:30. School starts at 7:21 now. Okay, so that line is a little long in the morning for all the latecomers. So I just need you to know that at 7:21, you should be seated in your first period class, ready to learn, okay? This is real easy. As you can see, the dress code is a little bit relaxed right now, and as we're kind of going through a little test to see how well you're able, or how mature you're able to handle having the relaxed dress code, as you'll hear Mr. Brandt say. So it's very important that if you have PE, you can dress in your PE uniform. Otherwise, you should be in your regular school uniform if you don't have PE. And you are allowed to wear hoodies. However, the hoods must be down, okay? So this is something really simple. Hoods down, mask up, okay? Just remember that. Keep your mask up, keep your hood down, and we'll be fine. Chromebooks. If you have not done so already, please make sure that you bring your form and your device, if you didn't return it from last year, to the main office so that we can switch you out and get you a new one. You do need your Chromebooks here in class, so it's important that you have that. Let's see. Yes, without further ado, we do have Ms. Sykes here, as I'll reintroduce her as the Director of Guidance and Pupil Services, Ms. Sykes.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Class of 2023. Before I even begin, I want to give a shout out to the football team and the cheerleaders today. That's who I'm shouting out today, because they have a road trip ahead of them today, and it's wet outside. So I just want to wish you all the best of luck today, and the band, of course, because very slippery. So you guys have a good trip today, and I hope we get a win. So here's the thing, juniors. The last time we spoke, I was talking about what it means to get credits and what your GPA means. And fast forward, what feels like a fast forward, the slowest fast forward of my life, but still a fast forward, you're juniors. There's a lot that I need to fill you in on that I didn't get to fill you on last year. Testing. Everybody will be taking, because we didn't have state testing for the past couple years, everybody's going to be taking what they're calling the Start Strong assessment in the next couple weeks. You're just going to do it right in your class. It's an hour long. It's just to see where everybody is, like what we need to work on or make up for from the past year and a half to 2 years of crazy. So it really is just a tool for the teachers to learn where you are. This doesn't count for or against your graduation. It's just so we can see what the learning gains and learning losses have been during the pandemic. That will be the first week in October. And how we're doing it is, if you're in English 9 or 10, you'll take it there. But if you're in English 11, you're good. So you're good. If you're in Algebra 1 or Geometry, you'll take it there. But if you're past those, you're good. But I do know that we do have some 11th graders that may be making up for past lost time and maybe taking Algebra, Geometry, English 9, or English 10. You're going to take the test right in that class. But if you're a junior and you're in English 11 and Algebra 2 or Integrated or anything above that, you're good. Now, the next thing is PSATs. Now, PSATs are actually the most important for juniors. We're offering it to every student in grades 9 through 12. It's really important for juniors because, as many of you who plan to go to a 4-year school in the next couple years, you're going to take the SAT in the spring of this year. This is the practice. This is what's going to help you see what the SAT looks like. For all of you, it's probably your first time taking a paper and pencil test, because all of you, your state testing up until this point has been online. So this will get you some practice in how to do that. It's also get you some practice in what the SAT looks like. And what I find to be very important is that depending on how you do on it, it can meet your testing graduation requirement. The state of New Jersey has a graduation requirement for testing that all of you have to make. In fact, one of the hardest things that we're dealing with right now is because we haven't had any testing for the past 2 years, the senior class hasn't had the opportunity to meet their testing requirement. So they're really under the gun. They didn't get the PSAT last year to get that off their chest and dealt with. Fortunately, you guys have it. On October 13th, everybody's going to be taking the PSAT, and this is an opportunity for all of you to just get your high school testing requirement dealt with and done. So you're just going to try your best on that day. Moving forward, past that, then we have a little bit of a lull. We get through junior year, we kind of bob along, we start thinking about college. In the spring is when the guidance department really starts to light the fire. You're going to start registering for the actual SAT that we're going to encourage you to take in May. We're probably going to have a trip for you, hopefully if things are safe, to different colleges to visit if you're interested. And you're going to start doing some placement testing for college. If those of you, one of the good things that have come out in the past 2 years is that 2-year colleges are now free in the state of New Jersey, which honestly, back in 1995, when I graduated from high school, I wish that was the case. Now, two-year colleges are free in the state of New Jersey. So for those of you thinking about going to a two-year school like Camden County, Rowan College, RCGC, which is Rowan College at Gloucester County, Burlington County, BCC, Burlington County College, they're free now. So you can do 2 years there and then transfer to Temple, transfer to Rutgers, transfer to Rowan, transfer to whatever Drexel, other four-year schools. Leave that four-year school with the same diploma as everybody else and probably half the bill. So in the spring of this year, we're going to give you way more information about what that looks like. We're going to start talking about what are we doing after high school? Do you want to go into the military? Do you want to go to work? Do you want to go to a technical school? One of the beautiful things about Camden County is that our local technical school, where you can do building trades, culinary, all of that stuff after high school, falls under Camden County College, which means that's also free. I know. Boy, what a time to be alive. So we're going to talk about a lot of that. I mean, this is big stuff for, a director of guidance. We're going to talk about that stuff later in the spring. I know a lot of you are athletes. You're looking to go to college to play sports. We're going to talk about that later in the spring, and we're going to get you ready so that by your senior year, you have a little bit of an idea of what you're doing with your life. Now, my next topic is harassment, intimidation, and bullying. We all know about that. Back when you were freshmen, I remember standing here and telling you what the incidents of harassment, intimidation, and bullying looked like when you were in middle school. The class of 2023 had much to be desired. But that was many moons ago. You are all older and wiser, and the pandemic has taught us all a lot about how we need to treat each other. The pandemic has been hard on all of us, but also there's been a lot of social justice issues that we've all been facing that have helped us see how valuable people's lives are and how we're really here to make each other's lives easier and not more difficult. And if you have a compulsion to see someone weak and make their life more difficult, it's time to look at what's hurting you that would make you want to hurt somebody else. Hurt people, hurt people. Now, with that said, I don't want to give you too much of a lecture on how to treat people, because you all know how to do that. You're old enough to know that. What I really want to talk about is if you see someone being harassed, intimidated, or bullied, if you see someone being picked on, let us know so that we can deal with it. Let your teacher know, let a counselor know. If you see someone being inappropriately touched, because, some people think that they have physical freedoms that they shouldn't have. If you see someone exerting a physical freedom against someone that is not asking for it or wants it, whether that's a violent, aggressive physical freedom or a sexual physical freedom, let us know, because we need to make sure that ends. Now, what happens when you report an incident of harassment, intimidation, and bullying? If you're the victim of that stays private. If you are the perpetrator of that goes to the principal, superintendent. It also goes up to the Board of Education and to the state. And for those of you who are applying to colleges where they ask for your discipline file, the college finds out. So let us know, because if you're witnessing someone be a perpetrator of harassment, intimidation, and bullying, they need to be checked. Because first of all, nobody deserves to come to work or come to school and get treated poorly by someone with no provocation. We're just trying to come here and do what we need to do and maybe have some fun. And if someone's getting in the way of that, it needs to be stopped. So if that's happening to you or you see it happening to somebody else, come let any of your teachers know, any administrator know, and any of the counselors know, so we can deal with it, because every single person in this room deserves to come here, feel safe, and not have to deal with nonsense. Okay? And that's all I have. I'm now going to pass it on to Mr. DiMattia, our assistant principal and director of athletics.
Hey, good morning, everyone. So as I've spoken to most of you and you've seen me around, I was transferred this year to be an assistant principal in charge of athletics. I'll also be assisting students with the last names that start with M or Z. With that being said, if any of you ever need anything, considering that I have a relationship with the majority of you going back to middle school or even this year for meeting you, you can always come to me for anything that you might need. With that being said, please, 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 even if you haven't gotten involved as a freshman or a sophomore because of the whole pandemic, it doesn't mean that you cannot get involved as a junior and try something new. Whether it's a sport, a club, an activity, right? Especially if, let's just say, last year it didn't go how you planned it to go, you have a golden opportunity because the rest of the world, when they're looking at your grades going forward, if you are applying somewhere or going somewhere or trying to do something, they understand that there was a pandemic. So with that, you have a great opportunity to start off strong and just have a bounce back year. So I would just sit there and try to do the best you can the first marking period. And one of the ways that you can sit there and be successful is by joining a sport, a club, an activity, band, theater, play, whatever it is, because the more people you have trying to help you, the easier it is for you to be successful, right? Think about it. If I'm running Amazon, I could be Jeff Bezos, wealthiest person in the world. I cannot do it on my own. Mathematically impossible. He has so many people helping him to get to that point. The same thing is that what I try to do with each one of you, whether it's a coach, a teacher that you're connecting with, guidance counselor, friends, family, something in an activity, running a club, the more people that are here to help you, the easier that it will be for you. And that's one of the great things about high school. There's a ton of opportunities for you to find something. So even if you're not sure if something might interest you, you can always come to me and have a conversation. I'm sure we can figure that out. The same thing is, if you start coming up to mid-marking period and you realize you're not being successful and you need help with something, you need to have a conversation with someone. That's why we're here. You all have to understand that none of us are coming to work and saying, well, whose life can I ruin today? Whose life can I really screw over today, or who can I hurt? Trust me, I can speak for myself. I'm getting up and saying, who can I help today? Who can I help to sit there and achieve their dreams and goals? The same thing is, right? I wouldn't be where I am without my teachers, coaches, family, friends, and everything else, the same as everybody else that you see walking around here. The more people that are helping you, the easier that it can be. With that, keep in mind, fall sports that we have: cheerleading, football, boys and girls soccer, boys and girls cross country, and tennis and field hockey. Winter sports, we have wrestling, boys and girls basketball, boys and girls bowling, and I'll keep saying it. We are looking to try to start a winter track program. With that being said, you could see some of your teachers and classmates walking around and asking you if you would be interested in winning track with a sign-up sheet. I need to get data to make an argument to start getting something started, okay? In the springtime, we have boys and girls track. We also have baseball and softball, and we have boys tennis, okay? With that, please, please, please get involved in something. Not just a sport, a club, an activity, something. There is always something for you to find, and there's always something, like I said, trying to build an ecosystem around you. The more people that are here to help you, the more people that you can go to, the easier life is. Because trust me, some of you have known, I've asked some of you for help at times. My handwriting's horrible. Hey, can you fill this out for me? Can you write this award for me? Or hey, would you mind grabbing and doing this for me? Doesn't matter to me that you guys are in high school and young adults. Smart enough to know when I need help, I'm going to ask someone for it. Whether it's a student, whether it's a teacher and a peer, colleague, whoever it is, right? With that, we're trying to make the best year for you, okay? Please come every day. The more you're involved, the more you're doing, the more successful you'll be. And if I can do anything for you, don't hesitate to reach out. And I'm excited to be here and start a new chapter in my life and hopefully help you guys start a new chapter in your life. Am I introducing our friends over here? All right, now we got class advisors, Ms. Mason and Coach McGuirl. Give it up, y'all.
sure I'm good.
Miss Mason doesn't like microphones, so I like to tease her with them. So if you guys remember, we were your advisors your freshman year and last year as well, although last year was pretty much a blur. So hopefully this year we get back to doing some activities and getting you guys involved again. So we have a sign-up sheet up here. I don't know if you've gotten any information from student government. I know Mr. Flood's been sending a lot of emails out. So if you are interested in possibly running for class president or vice president, treasurer, secretary, please come see us and we'll give you details of what you need to do. All right, next week we'll be voting, so we kind of do need to get some of that interest today at least, and then you can decide if you still want to go forward with it or if it's not for you. But if you think you'd like to be part of that, come down, all right? At the end, not now. Don't stampede the front, okay? So some of the things as juniors, okay, we are responsible for planning prom. So if that's something that interests you, maybe you want to get involved in that. This might be another avenue for you to get into that. If you were not into that, we always look for help for prom stuff anyway. We usually form a prom committee that will come from this list of, your class president and those types of people. That's our main thing, actually. We usually have around Thanksgiving, we do the pie sale, which is a really good fundraiser. It's also a good opportunity for you guys to start earning some money for yourselves. So your senior year comes with a lot of expenses. You have proms, yearbooks, hopefully a senior trip, all these things to think about. And fundraising will allow you to put money in your student account that can be used towards those things. All right, if you do the pie sale and out of the money you sold, you have $100, like that can cover your yearbook. Or, hey, I want to go to the play. They're putting a spring musical on, but I don't have any money. I want to use my account. We can transfer that, to the theater account and get you a ticket. There's different ways you can use your money for school activities. So even if you're not involved in that stuff, you can still fundraise, all right? So if you don't want to be the class president or you don't want to be part of that organization, you can still participate and help yourselves for the future, all right? We all understand that a $300 deposit in September, your senior year for senior trips, a lot of money. We have had people in the past that have paid half their senior trip just from fundraising. So those options for senior trip will happen next year. We'll see options. Disney gets very expensive. We did Virginia Beach last time with our seniors. It was an awesome time. Last year they were able to get a Hershey trip in, which was great because we didn't even think we'd have anything. So there's always different things going on. I think that's it for us, really. Yeah. So if you guys are interested at the end, when you guys are dismissed, please come up, talk to us, let us know if you are interested in student government. The more we have, the better. Uh-oh, battle of the mics.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, mic drop. No, you buy. Bye. Before I go, what's kidnapper's favorite shoes? White Vans.
All right, thank you, Coach McGurl. And Mrs. Mason, we are going to have a wonderful junior year. Just a few extra things I just need to finish up with you, and then I'm going to send you back to class. Okay, so again, with your electronic devices, again, you should have a Chromebook. If you don't, you need to make sure that you turn your form in and turn in any unreturned devices back to the school so that you can get a Chromebook. You do need it for your classwork. As far as your own electronic devices are concerned, when you're passing in between classes, you are allowed to have one earbud in so that you can still hear what's going on around you. When you're in the classroom, if your teacher allows you to use your electronic device, that's fine, but that's, only under the direction of your teacher. If not, you should be just using the Chromebook that's been issued to you by the school. And on that note, we do have this software called Go Guardian, which allows us to see everything that you are doing on said Chromebook and everything. And we do receive notification if you're on an inappropriate website or doing something inappropriate. So let's just make sure that you, as the mature junior student that you are, that you're doing what you're supposed to do, all right?
And keep your cousin Carson Shorty off.
Right, it's important. We have had some situations where there have been students that have loaned their Chromebooks out to family members, and the family members get onto inappropriate websites, and that's a big problem. So don't loan it out. All right. Okay. During your student prep, cafeteria, or IXL time, those classes or those areas, that's your assigned area. You do not have the option to say, oh, I don't want to go to lunch today. I'm going to go wherever. No. If you're assigned to the cafeteria, you're assigned to student prep, you're assigned to IXL during that period, that is where you're supposed to be. You must have a hall pass signed from an adult, a staff member, allowing you to go somewhere else. Our student agendas, which you use for passes, they will be coming soon. In the meantime, your teachers do have passes. So if you have to go somewhere, you have to get a pass in order to go from place A to place B. All right, some of you have been asking about community service hours. For right now, we're not doing, there's no community service requirement. We will let you know in October if we're going to have you do community service. Okay, hallway conduct. Let's make sure you are juniors. You are, one of the oldest, more mature students in the building. I think I just caught someone trying to race down the hallway to get here. He knows who I am, but I won't call him out. We're done with that. We're just using our passing time to walk from one place to the other. There is a bell. You need to make sure that you're in your class on time. You do not have time to walk your friend across the building and then get back to your class. That just makes you late. So, the hallway passing time is for you to walk from the class that you're in to the next class that you need to be in. Nothing else, nothing less, nothing more, all right? Mr. DiMattia already talked about the importance of you getting involved and getting into your extracurricular activities, sports, clubs, activities. I can't stress that enough, that, in addition to making sure that you're doing your work and getting involved in an activity, that's going to make the rest of your high school time here a wonderful time. Make sure that you're paying attention to announcements. That's when you'll hear about when the different clubs are meeting, and you can just come out. And just because you come out one time doesn't mean that you have to commit to being in that club. Come out and see what it's about. And, kind of do some club shopping. Come to the club, do the meeting, see if you like it. If you don't, then you come to another club. Just keep going until you find a club that you are interested in and want to be involved with.